Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Dongos. And thank you once again for the invitation. As he has already alluded to, Senior Assistant Commissioner Makota is the Commander Harmonized Elections. And for purposes of this briefing, he's going to make a presentation to the media and obviously to all the Zimbabweans in general, so that they understand the level of preparedness by the Zimbabwe Republic Police. Senior Assistant Commissioner Makota. Then we can also entertain questions at the end of the presentation.
It is a very good afternoon to you, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. I would want to thank you very much indeed for inviting the Zimbabwe Republic Police to come and make this important presentation so that our people are informed of what is happening. Let me begin by highlighting that over the past few months, there's been a lot of activities taking place on the political arena, as political parties have been freely conducting their primary elections as well as campaigning for the harmonized elections set for tomorrow, the 30th of July 2018. Largely, all these political activities have been taking place and continue to take place in a peaceful and tranquil environment. The prevailing atmosphere at the moment is very conducive for free, fair, transparent, and credible elections. However, I wish to mention that there have been some few incidences of inter- and intra-party politically motivated violence, especially during the primary elections in the country's major parties. As police, we recorded some cases of inter-political clashes, albeit very few, as compared to intra-party violent incidences. Regrettably, this peaceful campaign period witnessed an unfortunate incident that happened on the 18th of June 2018 when there was a bomb blast during a ZRP rally in Bulawayo. The case is still under investigations. Some suspects have been picked. In order to heighten the level of political tolerance and peace among all citizens, the Zimbabwe Republic Police have been engaged in awareness campaigns throughout the whole country. We have been using such forums, the electronic and print media, encouraging members of the public to shun political violence. We have also been conducting direct campaigns in communities through our press and public relations, educating members of the public on the need for peaceful elections and tolerance of divergent political views. Furthermore, we have also joined hands with various organizations, which include the Zimbabwe Human Rights Commission, the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, Peace and Reconciliation Commission, civic organizations, lobby groups, traditional leaders, religious organizations, as well as conducting liaison meetings with political parties themselves, preaching the message of non-violence, peace, and tolerance. I wish to take this opportunity to commend all Zimbabweans for exhibiting political maturity, which has manifested through peaceful political campaigns and demonstrations. I also want to thank some political leaders for preaching the gospel of peace. The President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, he has been in all his forums preaching the gospel of peace, and other political leaders took the heed And this is why the country at the moment is enjoying peace. Let me say the role of the police during this period. The broad role of the Zimbabwe Republic Police is spelled under Section 219 in brackets 1 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe, Amendment number 20 of 2013, which mandates the police, among other responsibilities, to investigate, detect, and prevent crime, to protect and secure the lives and property of people, to maintain law and order as well as the enforcement of the law without fear or favor. Without fear or favor. Why I'm emphasizing this is for obvious reasons, because I think when you have been following what we have been doing, all those who have been involved in criminal activities have not been spared. From all the political players, we have not spared anyone, and they will remain with that stance. In policing these plebiscites, the police derives further guidance from the Electoral Act, Chapter 2.13, the Public Order and Security Act, Chapter 11.17, the Criminal Law Codification and Reform Act, Chapter 9.23, and the Human Rights Manuals. In keeping with the provisions of the law, and in particular Section 208 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe, as police, we are duty-bound to remain national in character, uphold the interests of the people as well as the rights and freedoms of every citizen, and not to further the interests of any individual political party. The Zimbabwe Electoral Act in particular obliges the police to ensure that there is peace, safety, and security, and that law and order prevails during the election period. For instance, a presiding officer may call upon a police officer for assistance to maintain order at a polling station and areas surrounding it. Accordingly, I would want to assure all citizens of this country and our regional, continental, and international observers that the Zimbabwe Republic Police guarantees their safety and security throughout these plebiscites. We have deployed adequate police officers at each polling station and at all corners of the country. We have police officers on standby. We have police officers doing patrol duties. We have police officers on surveillance, monitoring non-criminals. We have police officers doing charge office duties. So we are a full complement in all possible areas where we believe crime can manifest. The major objective of such focused deployments is to ensure that the voters exercise their constitutional right of freely choosing their political leaders without any undue influence, violence, or intimidation from any person or political party. May I hasten to add that, guided by the same act, the police officers shall not interfere with the election process. As such, they shall exercise their duties under the directions and the instruction of the presiding officer at a polling station. Complementing the Electoral Act is the Public Order and Security Act that empowers the police to maintain public order and security during these plebiscites. Through the provision of this act, the police have been receiving and processing notifications of intention to hold public gatherings. And we have made sure that all the requests are met with the exception of the day when we were doing police deployments. That's when we requested political parties to say we were committed, because we wanted to make sure that our officers and members are on the ground. In this regard, as police, we have an obligation to take all necessary measures and precautions to prevent all manner of crime, such as political violence, intimidation, and political intolerance, among other breaches. The security of observers, journalists, and voters. As the police would want to guarantee 100% safety and security of all observers and journalists, as well as voters. However, I want to encourage you all that when you are traveling, if you get to any nearest police station, if you need any police assistance, you are free to get that assistance at no cost, because we have informed our police officers that there will be journalists and observers who will be needing your assistance, and we have told them, in fact instructed them, to make sure that journalists and observers are getting the necessary assistance that they require from the police. Investigation of politically motivated cases. Let me take this opportunity to inform all Zimbabweans that the police, we investigate all cases of politically motivated violence without fear or favor. Let me also remind our citizens that distracting or defacing or superimposing campaign posters is a serious electoral offense. As I speak now, we have arrested some accused persons who have been involved in this type of crimes. And unfortunately for those, we fast-tracked them. And some are already languishing in prison, meaning to say they will not be able to vote with the rest of the people tomorrow. So my appeal to our populace is that we all want Zimbabweans to go and vote. So don't deny yourself the right to vote. Because what we are saying is not a threat, it's an obligation that we are mandated by the Constitution to make sure that there is law and order. So we are appealing to all Zimbabweans to make sure that there is peace and order. We want our elections to be credible. We have deployed our police officers, 71,000, throughout the whole country. You shall be seeing high police visibility with focused deployments in all hotspots, in all areas that we think crimes have got the potential to be committed. And anyone who is found committing crimes will be arrested, despite your nature or stature in life. We are not going to spare anyone. We are not going to spare anyone. And we have got adequate resources. We have heard from other sources that the police are incapacitated to deal with the criminals during these plebiscites. That is very unfounded. Commit a crime, then we'll show you that we have got the capacity. We have got adequate handcuffs. We have got adequate vehicles. We have got adequate manpower. We have got adequate cells. So, as well as we've got adequate stationery to prepare the dockets. So, we are just saying to our people, maintain the peace that is prevailing. We all want everyone to go and vote. Training of police officers. Ladies and gentlemen, the police officers that are involved in these plebiscites have undergone a special training. They have been trained in the management of harmonized elections. They have been trained in the Electoral Act. They have been trained in the Criminal Law Codification and Reform Act. They have been trained in the Public Order and Security Act. They have been trained in SADC principles and guidelines governing democratic elections. So you would realize that the service that we will be delivering is the service that you expect. We are also going to deploy supervisors and commanders to be on the ground to make sure that those officers that are deployed are doing their duties accordingly. As I speak right now, all assistant commissioners and above from Police General Headquarters, they have been deployed countrywide to check on the preparedness and also to advise and make sure that everything is in order. So as you can see, we are doing everything in our capacity to make sure that we deliver a professional service to our people. We have, in addition to that, prepared a pocket-sized booklet which we have given to all our members and officers who are involved in these plebiscites. This is the sample of the pocket-sized booklet that shows the laws that govern the elections. So all our officers that are deployed, they've got this manual, and they've been taught on what is contained in here. So this is our Bible for the elections as the police. All officers have got this booklet. Then let me comment a bit about the postal voting. There have been a lot of noise about the postal voting. The postal voting is done in accordance with Section 72 of the Electoral Act. If you read Section 72, let me just read it for you so that you get to understand. Because ignorance of law is not a defense. And right, Section 72, persons who may vote by post. Where an election is to be held in a constituency, a person who is registered as a voter on the roll for that constituency shall be entitled to vote by post in terms of this part, if or on all polling days in the election, he or she will be A, on duty as a member of a disciplined force or as an electoral officer, or B, on duty in the service of government outside Zimbabwe, C, outside Zimbabwe as the spouse of a person referred to in paragraph B, and so unable to vote at a polling station in the constituency. Right, as I speak, we had 4,606 police officers who applied for postal voting. And the processes and procedures of the postal voting are on Section 75 of the Electoral Act. It's not that the postal voting is done the same way that we are going to be doing tomorrow. Out of these 4,606, the rest of the police officers will be voting together with the rest of the voters tomorrow. The officers that I'm talking about that applied for the postal voting are the officers who are deployed outside their working areas. For instance, the Bulawayo case, those officers are deployed in Matabeleland North, in areas like Cholocho, Binga, Vic Falls, Lupane, and we had about 110 officers from Bulawayo. The process of the postal vote is, as per Section 75 of the Electoral Act, it's simple. The eligible officer applies to ZEC. ZEC then checks in the voter's roll if that officer is a registered voter and if he has got the qualifications to vote by postal. Once they are satisfied, they then prepare the ballot envelopes and send those ballot envelopes to the officer commanding of that province, who then, the officer commanding, issues out the ballot envelopes that are sealed to the responsible officer who is eligible to do the postal vote. And this officer is told to go and vote at his own time and at a secretive place of his own choice. After that, he seals the envelopes and returns back to the officer commanding, who then carries them back to ZEC. It's as simple as all that. We don't need the ZEC officials to be present. We don't need the agents to be present. Like the political parties in Bulawayo were saying, we want the ZEC officers to be here. We want our agents to be here while the postal voting is taking place. These laws that are in the Electoral Act were made by the legislators. I'm wondering why they don't have an appreciation of the laws that they make. We only enforce the law. And for your own information, our members and the officers that are involved in these plebiscites were all trained on the postal voting process during the training program. And even the officers commanding provinces that were exercising the process, they were also taught. In addition to that, the ZRP is an illiterate organization. It's a literate organization, I mean to say. Our officers, they are educated. You do not call an officer to say, come and sit in front of me and do the voting process. They will not allow that. We only issue lawful instructions to our officers. We don't issue unlawful instructions to our officers. It's unlawful for me to give an unlawful instruction. The officers voted according to the laws of the country. That's it about the postal voting. Ladies and gentlemen, let me probably give you the statistics of the crimes that we have been experiencing, that have been reported from when we started the preparations for the elections to date. Right. I've divided the crimes for inter-party crimes and intra-party. So I'll start with the inter-party crimes. The inter-party crimes, we recorded a total of 199. And on top of the list, there were assaults. 103 cases were reported. Intimidation and threats, 37. Malicious damage to property, 9. Public violence, 27. Post and telecommunication offenses, 2. Communicating false document, 1. Kidnapping, 3. Criminal insult, 8. Disorderly conduct, 4. Then, as for the intra-party crimes, assaults, 111. Intimidation and threats, 21. Malicious damage to property, 15. Public violence, 44. Post and telecommunications offenses, 3. Kidnapping, 4. Fraud, 7. Robbery, 5. Theft, 5. Criminal nuisance, 5. Extortion, 1. Discharging a firearm, 1. Impersonation, 1. Criminal abuse of office, 1. That gives us a total of 225. These are the intra-party of where people of the same political party are committing crimes against each other. But what is of interest on the intra-party crimes is that most of the complainants are coming to make withdrawal statements because they fear losing their votes. Because 99% of the sentences for violating the Electoral Act is imprisonment. It's mandatory. And I would not have said anything if I did not make compliments to the judiciary who set up a special courts throughout the whole country to deal with these cases. It's thumbs up for the judiciary. They gave us special courts. There are 75 magistrates appointed to the special courts and 5 judges of the High Court that were appointed to deal with these cases. So you can see thumbs up also to the Commissioner General of Police, who has set up special detectives to deal with these cases. He appointed experienced and seasoned detectives to handle these cases in order to match the special courts. So you can see how much we are all prepared. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, the ZRP is now 100% ready and fully geared to ensure that the harmonized elections are held in a peaceful and a tranquil environment. As an organization, we are committed to ensuring that the forthcoming harmonized elections taking place tomorrow are held in a peaceful environment within the dictates of the laws of the country and in sync with the international guidelines governing the conduct of peaceful and democratic elections, particularly the SADC, the AU, COMESA, and the United Nations guidelines on the conduct of peaceful and democratic elections. Let me conclude once again by assuring the nation and the observer teams as well as you journalists that the Zimbabwe Republic Police is 100% ready and we ensure that these coming elections are held in a tranquil, peaceful, safe, and secure environment. We are appealing to the Zimbabweans to make sure there is peace even after the elections. Those that are going to be defeated in the elections should accept the results of the people. And anyone who is found breaking the laws of the country should be prepared. To be arrested. I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Senior Assistant Commissioner Makhodza. I think that was a very intense briefing for you. But let me just highlight one point. Let me just also, it's a point that he has already referred to, but we just want to highlight there was a weekly which wrote that 35,000 police officers were not going to vote. We want to make it very clear here to all Zimbabweans and to journalists as well, especially to all the observers. All our police officers are going to exercise their right to vote. Those who voted during the postal vote have already voted, but the remainder, they are all going to be voting at the polling stations. And that statement was a distortion. We also want to appeal to the media to also verify when you get such information. It is also important for you to verify and get correct facts, because such statements can also cause despondence. Imagine a police officer who is in the raw area and he sees that statement, he will feel that he might not be able to vote. But nonetheless, we've already communicated with all our police officers. They are registered and definitely everyone is going to vote. Then The other issue also is about just adding on to what he has explained. Please, Zimbabweans, let's maintain peace. Tomorrow, let's maintain peace even after voting. People do not realize how hard it is to rebuild where peace has been tampered with. You must check with other countries where there has been breakdown of rule of law and a breakdown of peace. It might take ages, years, to rebuild that peace. So let us all think about it tomorrow as we go to vote. And let's all remember that if there's peace, then things will be easier. But if we think otherwise, it will be very difficult for all of us. So let's all make it happen. Peace begins with me, peace begins with you, and peace begins with all of us. Thank you very much. We are open for questions.